Hi, my name is Pastor Hal York, and welcome to Truth in the Trenches. Today we're being Proverbs chapter 25, verses 9 through 10. Argue your case with your neighbor, and do not reveal the secret of another, or he who hears it will reproach you, and the evil report about you will not pass away. You could call chapter 25, I think, the good neighbor chapter. He says in verse 8, do not hastily bring into court, for what will you do in the end when your neighbor puts you to shame? Verse 17, let your foot be seldom in your neighbor's house, lest he have his fill of you and hate you. Verse 18, a man who bears false witness against his neighbor is like a war club or a sword or a sharp arrow. And then our verses today talk about the neighbor as well. The duty of personal relationships. The dynamics of personal relationships, keeping a confidence, love covering a multitude of sins, learning how to handle disagreements, learning to agree to disagree, learning the value of friendships, of trust, of respect, and caring. Proverbs repeatedly talks about the universal need for discretion in our dealings with other people, especially our friends and family, and even our neighbors. Be it a spouse, a child, a friend, or neighbor, if you have a disagreement or there is an issue between you, or if they have shared something in confidence with you, you should not betray that confidence. Even if it is a disagreement, you should keep it between the two of you. As much as lieth in you, we should seek to live at peace with all men. Nothing will shatter that peace more than gossip or taking them to court. And I think that's what this verse really is talking about, because verse 8 before it talks about arguing your case with your neighbor and then don't take him to court. And that's probably what is in view here. But I think we can also talk about just disagreements that we have in just regular life. But we live in a sue-happy culture, and it seems like people are taking one another to court for the silliest things. And if you don't believe that, watch Judge Judy sometime and see how that affects their friendships. Some things should not be discussed outside of the privacy of the two people involved in a dispute. If you have a problem with your neighbor, talk to them about it, not everybody else. Go to them, talk with them, seek to resolve the issue or the case that has come up between you. And keep it between you. If you need advice or counsel, talk to them about it, but don't go behind their back. What we tend to do in such cases is recruit people who agree with us, and in doing so, we have informed people of issues that are really none of their business. And remember, this is a general principle. It's impossible to cover every possible case that could come up between two people. But the point of the saying is to demonstrate respect for the other person involved. Have the wisdom and the respect for the one involved to keep the secret that they're sharing with you, or things that could embarrass or hurt them to yourself. We have talked about this several times in our studies in Proverbs. How do we handle secrets? When we become aware of a person's failings or they tell us a secret, does that empower us? We have been entrusted with something very, very precious, and we need to be careful how we handle it. Protecting them, airing dirty laundry has become sport for some and very lucrative, especially on the internet. Secrets are revealed that are hurtful. Secrets that are shared in confidence are used to build a case against the other person, or to embarrass that person, or to get more followers or clicks or whatever. If we look at the verse, the person who ultimately loses is not the person whose secret was shared, but the person who shared the secret. He who hears it will reproach you, and the evil report about you will not pass away. People start to talk about you, not the person you gossiped about. You gain the reputation of someone who cannot be trusted, one who has no integrity, one who does not care about others. Once you gain such a reputation, the evil report about you will not pass away, and your reputation will be ruined, King James Version says. One writer says, one should not smear another's name to clear his own. How many times have you heard or read about someone taking another to court, thinking they would win, only to be humiliated by the things that come out against them? Proverbs 3:29 says, do not plan evil against your neighbor who dwells trustingly beside you. And because he trusts you, he shares things with you. Proverbs 24:28, be not a witness against your neighbor without cause, and do not deceive with your lips. Things shared in secret by a spouse, a friend, a neighbor, or even a child should never be used as weapons against them to win an argument or to win a case in court. Obviously, if the secret is that they're a serial killer, you have a responsibility to your family and the safety of the public to report them. But that's not the principle here, and chances are that will never happen anyway. But nothing has destroyed more friendships and turned neighbors into enemies than taking them to court over something that should have been easily remedied by just sitting down and talking it out. And even if it's not resolved to our satisfaction, sometimes it might be better just to let it go. I know that seems almost unthinkable in our current culture, but sometimes for the case of the gospel, for the sake of the friendship, the marriage, the dignity of the people that we're dealing with, remembering that love does cover a multitude of sin, sometimes it's just better to let it go, to be willing to take a loss if that's what it means, as 1 Corinthians 6 reminds us, rather than drag the name of God into court because we can't solve the problems on our own. The one who betrays confidence in the end always comes out the loser and earns a reputation that may stick with them for the rest of their lives. So this really is about integrity. It's about, can I be trusted with the secrets of another? My family, my friends, and especially my spouse. As husbands and wives, we know things about one another that nobody else knows or should know. And we need to keep it that way because it could be very embarrassing or humiliating if it came out. So this verse has a lot to say to us, I think, about our current culture and about our lives. We need to take it to heart and argue our case with our neighbor and do not reveal the secret of another, or else he who hears it will reproach you, and the evil report about you will not pass away. So may this truth guide us and guard us in the trenches of life as we seek to live our lives for the glory of God and the good of others. May God bless.